Why take tirzepatide or semaglutide? So my inbox gets flooded all the time about why do people need to take these medications. We get people that comment all the time about, hey, you shouldn't need to take these medications. It's not necessary. And I think that's always a good question. Like, why do people need to take them? Now, the truth is no one needs to take these medications. They're elective and they're about weight loss. So you say, well, couldn't you just diet and exercise? And the answer is you can. But some people need a little bit more help. And a really interesting study got done in 2016. And actually the Atlantic magazine picked up this study and ran a piece on it recently too. But what they did was super cool. They looked at differences from people from the 1980s to 2008. And they wanted to look at both their eating habit differences, their exercise habit differences, and kind of see if they could draw any conclusions from it. And what they found actually, 1980, 2008, carbohydrates, sugar intake increased by 10%, right? Fats and proteins on average decreased intake-wise 5 to 9% of the time. And why that matters is actually carbs are equal to about the same as a protein intake. I realize they're not the same type of macronutrients, so please don't come after me, fitness people, but just when we're talking about total calorie expenditures, and fats are actually about twice as much calorie expenditure as the carbs. So overall, it kind of nets out. Now, this is the other super interesting thing. Activity, leisure activity, physical activity actually went up by 40 to 120%, depending upon the group of people that you looked at. So think about that. We're saying roughly total calories are the same. Sugars did bump up, and there's different things you get into there, but activity went way through the roof. What did we find? Well, we found actually that on average, the average person's BMI is actually 2.3 points higher than it was in the 1980s. So the study makes it a conclusion, which I agree with, which is saying, hey, you cannot pin this on a lack of sedentary or not doing physical activity, because studies show different. When we really drill into this, people are actually moving around and exercising, going to the gyms way more than they were 30 years ago. So something else has to be going on. Can you pin it all to the 10% of the sugars? Maybe, or maybe you could start looking at some of the other sort of pesticides or endocrine disruptors that are being put on your food that aren't allowed in other countries, and that's a video for a different topic. But it gets to this point up here, which is sometimes in order to help sort of kick this off, when our diet's being messed with this much that it's causing changes that don't align with normal biochemistry, maybe that does give people the help to just sort of start to see the trend, to lose weight, to get them on a pathway, start to exercise, and then actually start to adopt healthier eating habits. I think it's something worth looking at. And I think for a lot of people actually can create a much healthier lifestyle.